We're here to learn today. We are here to learn today, bro. Jubilee, can Hindus and Muslims see eye to eye? Now, me being an American, semi relatively occasionally uncultured. What they got beef or something? What's up with that? I don't know, bro. We're here to learn. Okay, Shah in New Delhi on March 27th, 2021.
Destroyed that masjid,
Okay.
and that is a wrong thing. Yeah. But do you know how many temples in Kashmir were burnt? 350 temples.
Are we settling scores?
Exactly.
No.
Hindus and Muslims are like the Montagues and Capulets of India. We've been warring for centuries.
Oh, they do have beef. Wow. Wow, bro. They don't talk about that over here. What?
Growing up, I was taught to stay away from the other side. Can the agreeers please step forward?
Yikes, dude. Yikes. That's crazy.
It wasn't said so strongly. Nothing really. There was generally an non-appreciation of me hanging out with Hindu friends. So there was not a clear thing that don't hang out with Hindus, but discouragement. Where are you going? Hey, he's a Hindu. You don't even know how they would have cooked. Why are you going to the birthday party or something? Whereas if I have a Muslim friend, he was somewhat more welcome.
So yeah,
That's
in my family,
crazy.
I think I have actually seen my parents neglect a lot of my Muslim friends, and very sternly, my mother specifically walk up to me and tell me that don't make Muslim friends. Or, you know, whenever there was a Muslim friend's birthday party, she would tell me not to go there.
It's like
there was
that?
this very cold environment. Like I would see my mother not treating them very well, not sitting with them or trying to even initiate a discussion. It really needs to be stopped. You can't let your kids grow in such a venomous environment that it ultimately takes a toll on them. And when they grow up, they start, you know, just hating the other community to such an extent that they can't even engage in discussions.
Because I want to know what that, like,
Can we have
how
the
did that
disagreeers
start,
come
bro?
forward?
What happened?
My
Because for
experience was
parents
quite
to
the
be like,
opposite.
you can't hang out with, bro, what happened? What
In
happened?
my house, actually, my sister's best friend was Muslim, and she used to live in our colony. And for every Diwali, it's like she didn't have anywhere to go or anything to do, so she used to spend Diwali with us. So my family's been very accepting.
So for my parents, it was never a choice because most of my friends were Muslims only. So there was no choice for them to stop me somewhere. But yes, it was communicated to our family, never marry a girl outside your...
What I really enjoy whenever someone from a different religion would come to the house, then the level of curiosity that my parents would have.
Absolutely.
And that's also something very bad about our society. After 1,000 years of coexistence, there is still curiosity. How dumb are we? Yeah. Like you still don't know about the other person.
Yo.
I've been married to a Muslim boy by my own will and choice, of course against my parents' will. They still don't speak to my husband at all. They have cordial relations with me, which I think I've over the time come to accept that it's okay. If they don't want to talk to him, it's their decision at the end of the day and I need to respect it.
Someone I know has died because of this conflict.
Dang, man.
We being Kashmiri Pandits are treated as a minority community in Jammu and Kashmir. And because of this religious extremism, my father was assassinated when I was at the age of 15 or 16. All the house was coordinated by militants and he was taken from my place and he was assassinated. Because of this religious conflict,
R.I.P., bro.
certain innocents are being targeted, and if the extremism and conflicts will go on, such things will happen.
That's horrible, dog. High key.
I think a lot of us. Just tongue-tied for now. But if I may, I think I just have had a lot of respect for you, like right now, because I think it takes a lot to be a first-hand victim of a crime and then still not develop that hatred and let that hatred get so much to you that you start blaming an entire community for it. Because at the end, you have to realize that an individual or few individuals belonging to that community were actually responsible for it and not the entire community. So I think if we actually had people like you who were so practical and understanding, we wouldn't be in this situation we are in today.
No, that's actually very true. I've spent a lot of time in Jammu and Kashmir. My father was in the army. We were posted there for a long time. I've seen a lot of terrorism and a lot of violence in front of me. We didn't go to school for many months because of that, so I've lost out big chunks of my childhood. Yeah. Initially, when you had introduced yourself and you said you were a Kashmiri Pandit, I was immediately filled with fear because I've had a lot of negativity from people who tend to harbor hate against people with literally just my surname. For, of course, things that have happened terrible in their lives. But to see somebody emerge from such a situation and then still come out the other side with the level of maturity that you're able to, show right now, it's really incredible to see.
Yeah.
What you have been through, given that despite that personal tragedy, you have managed to keep yourself just and fair. My salute to you. And
For real, bro.
if it matters,
I ain't gonna lie.
I doubt it does. But as a part of a Muslim community, I am terribly sorry for your loss.
See, that's the problem. I mean, you can be sorry to him. Why do you have to take the blame for it?
Exactly. Exactly.
That is something that I don't understand. None of my business, not my problem. Some people did it. I am the representative for myself. That doesn't make me absolute in the sense to represent that entire culture. It's just a tiny facet.
It does.
No, actually, when you start being apologetic for the entire community is actually when you start giving the other side the chance to blame the entire community.
So Pallavi made a point. So she said that if everybody was like him, we wouldn't be here at all. But I want to just take to the other side because to go what he has gone through, I believe the pain would be immense. And if that means that I lash out at society, at the perpetrators, at whoever or whatever was responsible, I believe that there is scope for understanding those kind of violent actions.
No, absolutely not. I so disagree with that point of view. We'd be living in an uncivilized, a lawless society if we actually start propagating thoughts like this, that, being violent is okay at a point. Your aggression, your being upset at the situation, the immense pain that you have felt, I'm sure people are going to understand. But saying that, it's justified for me to be violent.
I'm not saying it's justified. I'm not saying it's justified.
If I understand what he's trying to say is, if he goes out because his family was subjected to violence and he kills somebody, what he's saying actually that killing somebody is bad, that is not a justification for killing, but probably what he's saying is that when it comes to punishing him, the history which existed, so that should serve as not a defense against his crime, but a mitigating circumstance.
No, but then
this guy understands me so well.
Then
how is that going to change anything?
Exactly.
I think that's the middle ground.
How does that make him different from the people who assassinated his father? How does that make him different then?
See, what Pallavi
because
is
he
saying
also
is
went
that,
ahead and shot those people. Those people shot his father. So where is the difference?
An answer to that. So we can justify by doing through individual, but blaming a complete community is not justifying. So that is what Pallavi, and I also agree on that. Muslims and Hindus can bridge those gaps because there are some negative energies which will pull you in your way. But we need to be tolerant. We need to be very much patient about the actions which we are doing.
The government has created more divide between Hindus and Muslims.
Yeah. Really? Are you guys not coming forward?
So I think, of course, you have reports after reports. In fact, there is a New York Times post that has clearly said, and I quote, that, the data of hate crime in India gets released based on who the hater is. Yeah. So when the government of India decides to release a data on hate crimes in India,
hold on. Yikes. Yikes, dude.
and it excludes lynchings of minorities and only puts forward, certain facts where the majority is favored, crimes against majority, I think, of course, the government has a huge agenda to serve in pleasing the majority.
If there would have been a time angle to this prompt, that would have made it, much more simpler for all of us. Because I feel post-independence, all the governments in this country have actually done nothing good for the majority and for the minority on a very social sense. Economic indicators we are not counting in. So the governments have definitely done. That's why we are where we are right now.
Make no mistake, governments since 1950s wouldn't have done anything. I agree with you. But 2014 onwards, we have a government who has an official policy to discriminate against Muslims. We have this Qurban, the sacrifice of the animal, and it takes place at our village. And we go to village and bring back the meat. From last 2 years, we are not bringing back the meat because we believe traveling with the meat is very dangerous. They'll stop you and they'll lynch you saying that it's cow. So this government has multiplied hate and hate crimes exponentially. It is not something which is just happening and they're apathetic about it. This is their policy. And these are, seasoned politicians making very absurd claims, that you should go to Pakistan and all. And you and I may think that they're buffoons and idiots. But what they're doing actually is they're normalizing it.
Yeah.
Unlike Congress, and which this politician has said it very right, Congress may be corrupt, I agree with you. But this government has overtaken the institutions so completely. The judiciary, the investigating agencies, the media.
Yeah.
So I think
all of that was already taken
not so
over on
much.
different
I think
degrees
that's living
for
in complete
long
denial.
time.
That's living in complete Governments before this must have done this. What we are seeing now is a support towards all of
basically
this. They supported blatantly. It's happening. Without any regret that they're violating the constitution, they're violating law. There's open support for it. When did we see previous governments supporting it? They at least had the knack and the shame to go ahead and oppose it, even on the face of it. Even though you know in your head, they must have in some way had a hand in this. But they never supported it openly. What we see now is open, blatant, shameless support, and it has led to such violent situation on the ground. Like he correctly said, people are being lynched for just carrying meat.
Yikes. And this is very interesting for me because I'm like a complete outsider, just kind of like seeing what's going on. Because like I said, bro, I haven't heard about any of this. None of this. I didn't know they was beefing, bro. I had no idea. So this is interesting. I wonder if this is, how it is for people in other countries watching, middle ground videos about stuff going on here. Because normally I would have dragged this out to an hour-long video. But I really have nothing to say here. I'm kind of just here to learn, bro. I'm not going to lie. And this is very interesting.
It's the government who did the lynchings. And the people who did the lynchings, they have been arrested. And even our Prime Minister has said several times that has denounced those acts. So I don't think it's the government who's not doing, it's a law and order issue in UP. And it should be looked at as that. Secondly, I don't think the government is increasing the divide between Hindus and Muslims. I think the divide has always been there since the partition. Second of all, speaking to the Ram Mandir issue, there my stance is the Muslims have thousands of mosques all over the world, but Ram was born only at one place, right? So I personally believe that the Ram Mandir...
This is kind of like, in my head, I don't know, again, as an outsider, like a similar situation to like what's going on with Palestine and Israel, right? It's like this is maybe
should have been there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, bro. Let me know in the comments, bro.
The Supreme Court has given Islamic society the right to build a mosque right beside. And like it would be like, why would we ever want to take Kaaba away from you? It's like that. That place is too special to us than it is to you. And just out of magnanimity, I would like it would be magnanimous of the Muslims to just give that. But I'm not really emotional about that issue. It could have gone either way and I would have been fine with it.
I think what you're saying is that the Muslims should have shown magnanimity is what the general view would have been, and the Supreme Court has gone by it. Just because they're minority, they're weak, they're less in number, let them come forward and show magnanimity. Na? Hum to majority, why should we show magnanimity? And let's not forget, that a mosque did exist at that place that was demolished. There is proper videographic evidence to show that people were on top of the tomb and they demolished that mosque. And then you say, give it to us, give the place to us because Ram was born here. And let me get your facts right. There has been an affidavit in the Supreme Court by the government itself stating that there is no evidence whatsoever. In fact, by the Archaeological Society of India also, that there is no fact whatsoever to state and to confirm that Lord Ram was actually born at that place. So your basic foundation of why the judgment is good is flawed in itself.
So I just never wanted to go on
This is deep, bro.
Masjid kind of a thing, but I just want to clarify here. Maybe anybody who has done on a masjid, they have destroyed that masjid, and that is a wrong thing. But do you know how many temples in Kashmir were burnt? 350 temples.
Are we settling scores?
Exactly. That doesn't justify. One wrong does not justify the other.
This is a wrong thing, wrong statement to say.
But you're justifying it, no? So what?
That intolerance has been to Muslims only.
So we getting back in blood now? Is that what this is about?
The entire debate about CA and NRC was going on, and working in news means that's a very big discussion topic. If I was to ever voice an opinion, the immediate rebuttal, it's often said in jest, but that doesn't, of course, make it okay, is, oh, why are you bothered? You can just go back to Pakistan. Even though I have absolutely no affiliation, but my identity is then brought into question, my loyalty towards my country is brought into question by these things. It goes back all the way to like middle school as well.
Yikes.
Hindus and Muslims can coexist peacefully in India.
I mean, I feel like anybody could coexist anywhere. It's just about, you know.
What is wrong with you people? Of course.
Yeah.
You are not born bigot. You are turned into one. By all these politicians and all the men who wants to keep their power to themselves and don't want to work. So they need things to divide people.
I mean, I think we've been living fairly peacefully, to be very honest. There have been some incidences. There's obviously been a spike, but look at us. I mean, we are having such a sound conversation, and has definitely been an increment in the number of inter-religious marriages, you know, more Muslim scholars being part of public institutions. I'm a thorough optimist. I feel that the trajectory is definitely going uphill despite all the hiccups that we are facing at this point in time for political reasons.
No, I don't agree that it's going uphill. I think it's getting worse as of now. Since 2014, like Kabir said. But I think, yes, there's definitely a place to coexist because we have been doing that since even before independence, right?
Yeah, 1,000 years.
Yeah. We have coexisted for so long. Also, I think the situation on the ground, like we're all the privileged lot, so let's accept that. But even if you see very common people on the ground also, I don't think there is as much as divide as is being portrayed by the media. And the only reason the media is portraying it is because the government, to its own benefit, wants to push this narrative that there is a Hindu-Muslim divide, that Muslims have been the cause of your trouble. They were the one whose needs were always...
I mean, I ain't gonna lie though, bro. That's how the media works. They love pushing beef. They love pushing beef, bro. Like, why do you think, you know, you see videos and, you know, I'm kind of relating this to here, but like, you know, especially, you know, a year and a half ago, you see videos of, you know, cops beating people up at protests. Because people love seeing beef. They'll never show a video of a black dude hugging a cop at a, you know, protest or whatever. They'll never do that. They might on Good Morning America right after, you know, they show a video of some dudes getting beat up or, you know, a cop getting hit in the head with a fire extinguisher or something. You know what I mean? But like, they just love promoting beef, and that's kind of how it is everywhere, which is very unfortunate, bro. But you hate to see it, man.
Forth, and despite being majority, you were always neglected. So now we are going to look after you. So I think the media is just running that narrative full throttle since 2014, and it's just becoming venomous. Like Kabir said, fascism gets to you very, very slowly.
See, I'm not very much comfortable when you are saying after 2014 it had happened. So I don't agree. I don't agree on that with you on that particular thing. So, Muslims and Hindus, if born in India, can coexist very peacefully, and only we need to leave our extremism. So whatever, maybe that Hindu extremism or the Muslim extremism. extremism is the main issue which should be left behind.
You better defend yourself.
Yikes, dude.
I think, like you said, it's a very optimistic view. It's very idealistic. I want it to happen. I don't know if that'll happen. You're right, we have existed together for a very long time. We're barely existing together right now. When this is not a symbiotic relationship, we're not happy together. I personally blame it on the old guard. I think a lot of people have prejudice because of the experiences they've had, and that's trickling down to younger generations. Perhaps, not to make it sound extremely dark, but if that generations die out and conversations like these continue, there could be change. But again,
that's how I feel about, discrimination here, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Once them, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. Once they kick the bucket and younger people kind of mellow out a little bit more, I feel like we're gonna be alright. To be honest, it's just a matter of time, bro.
Keeping our privilege in mind, these conversations are just happening here. I am super afraid of having these conversations outside of these. I am afraid of backlash. I am afraid of being othered. I am afraid of being told that, just go back to Pakistan where you belong then. You'll be comfortable there. So I don't know if it's happening outside of these sort of
in
places.
every educated household,
education is very limited though, again.
It's not that limited. Definitely, it's one of the points that we have to focus on.
I wanted to make the point out that why his incorrigible optimism is not misplaced. Things are bad right now, of course. And is there fight between Muslims and Hindus which weren't there earlier? Say Muslims came to India, say 1000, right? AD. Were there wars before that?
Of course, yes.
Were there Muslims when there was Mahabharat? Was there discrimination before Muslims came? There was a caste system. There is nothing particular about any one particular community. So Hindus and Muslims are not that, unique pair who can never be together. Majority of us agree that they can live together. All of us want them to live together. Only difference would be how much. So I think we should be optimistic. I implore all of you. We certainly can live together.
Yo, W-Mans, bro. High key. This was an interesting episode. And finally, bro, they ain't hugged, bro. I really respect them for that. Because I swear, bro, Pete Corona, everybody been hugging. I ain't gonna lie to you. But that was an interesting episode, though, bro. I really like Middle Ground. It's one of my favorites. I feel like episodes like this, though, are just good for kind of learning about stuff, bro. Like I said, I ain't know nothing about that. I know they was beefing at all, bro. Especially for a long time. Like, bro, 1,000 years. I ain't know nothing about that at all. But shout out to them, though. And I wonder why this one took so long to drop. I guess they just didn't want to drop it right when they made it, or they couldn't fit it in, or something. I don't know. Which makes me excited for any other archive Middle Ground episodes.